seated and our opponent's letting us go for the choke, we're trying just to get the mechanics down, how we're moving our elbows, how we're controlling their shoulders, etc. When you're actually going for the back and actually getting to the back position on a good resisting opponent, now you're going to be falling to the side, he's going to be rolling, he's going to be fighting the hand. And we've talked a lot about, on Monday and Tuesday, about how to control when we go to the positive and the negative side. And how to keep our head position, our elbow position strong so we can still choke them. And we're still going to go over those topics today. We're now going to start talking about the hand fight battle. So oftentimes when I get this position, I get the back and I get a seatbelt, my opponent's going to hand fight. So let's talk about what we mean by hand fight. So again, I'm going to do it from the seated position first just so you guys can see it better. So let's just scoot back a little bit. If you guys try to come around so you can see our hand. If you can't see the hands, you're not going to understand the hand fight. So as I start going for the choke, he's going to be pulling down. He's going to be trying to get 2-on-1 and try to not let my arm get to his neck. Because if this arm can't get to Jack's neck, I can't do the rear naked choke to him. Now again, I can do other things. I can transition to things like twisters and arm bars and reverse triangles like we've talked about some of with the week. But this is going to shut the choke down. And as soon as this arm is not threatening a choke and Jack has control of it, he can do things like circle it over his head and start escaping. So when we're in this position, we have to deal with his hands. He's not going to let me get to the choke. Now the better my position is, the stronger my elbow pinch is, the more I can kind of wedge my arm in, the better. But we're going to talk about a real basic way he's going to try to attach to this wrist and defend it and how I want to counter it. So as I start going for the choke, he's going to go 2-on-1. He's going to try to resist. Exactly. He's going to try to pull through. So this bottom arm, I'm going to come over and I'm going to grab the same side wrist. So I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to grab Jack's left hand as I'm trying to bring my right arm in. Now I'm keeping my elbows pinched the whole time. And then what I want to do is I want to slide my left hand to my right hand. So my left hand is going to shoot here and I'm going to pull in. I'm just going to do a little wrist lock. It's going to put a ton of torque on Jack's wrist because I'm basically putting the back of my hand on his hand and I'm going to roll here. As through, I'm going to shoot in. Now I'm going to push his hand down and now we're getting to that same spot. His hand comes behind the head, we roll through, and I finish the choke. Okay? So again, we're going to do it one time from the seated position with your partner, one set through, and then we'll talk about when he's actually fighting to the side like we've been talking about all week. But again, we're in a basic seatbelt position. My elbows are going to pinch. As I start going for the choke, he starts to go to that 2-on-1. So this hand, the bottom arm, is going to slide in and I'm going to control his wrist. And what I think about doing is grabbing by the pinky at the pad of the finger. I'm going to start pulling up. So he has to really resist. He has to lock his wrists in. As I feel this, then I'm going to bring my hand out. I'm going to bring my hands together. I'm going to make a nice what we call gable grip right over his wrist. And then I'm going to push down on my left and lift with my right. As I expose the back of my right hand to me, that's going to make it very hard for him to defend. I slide my arm in tight as I push this wrist down. So now we're in the same spot we were. I'm already in the choke. My hand comes behind, circles over the elbow, grabs, and finishes the rear naked choke. Okay? We do it to the other side so you guys can see. I'm tight. I start to go for the choke, and he's going to fight 2-on-1. And again, he wants to fight this hand down and get away. So as he's fighting, I'm going to bring my right hand inside. I'm going to grab the pinky right by the pad of the pinky finger. And then what I would do is basically start turning, make him think he can't hold on so he really connects to it hard. Then I'm going to open this hand, and I'm going to bring my hands together. I'm going to make a gable grip without my thumbs, not with my thumbs. And now I'm going to push my right hand, the one on top, down as I lift up. And that's going to put that nice shear on his wrist. This hand pushes down, and I shoot my arm in as deep as I can. Again, readjust so it's a nice head elbow position. This hand comes behind. I circle my elbow over, I pinch, and I finish the choke. So I want you to do that against our hand fight, and then we'll talk about when he's rolling to the side, how we want to do the same position. But I want to start just seated so you guys can get a feel for it. So let's get with a partner and give it a try. Do the wrist lock.